Hey guys, how are you? I'm here to make this video today about Isa Pecini and give you some insights as to what happened leading up to the Olympia, what happened while she was in Montreal, and what our plan is going forward. So I felt like it wasn't fair to her fans and people following our journey to just leave you in the dark and just be like, yeah, I don't know, her boots didn't look like they should have, and we'll come back next year. So I'm going to kind of go into detail here and show you pictures of how she was looking throughout the process of her prep and where I think things went wrong and what we should do in the future to maybe correct this. So I'm going to start by saying that we learned a lot about Isa when she had that emergency surgery for her appendix 2 weeks after the Arnold. And what we learned was that her body does really well when it gets a little bit of a break. So Isa's been competing for about 7 or 8 years now, and she's never had an off season before. She's always had maybe 1 to 2 months off maximum, and then she's back into a show. So she was doing like Olympia every year, then she would like jump into the Arnold, and she would do a couple shows in the summer. So she always was competing in the fall, the spring, and the summer. So she didn't really have time to disengage from bodybuilding. She didn't have time to kind of spend a lot of time with her family and go on vacations and kind of just enjoy life a little bit. And what we saw after the Arnold, when she actually was able to take some time off and she was forced to take time off of the gym and she wasn't able to train for about 5 to 6 weeks, was that her body responded like I've never seen it respond before. And I'm going to show you what I mean by that. So I put together these folders and pictures of Isa so that I could show you the evolution of her physique. So these photos were about 2 weeks out from the Arnold. I'm not sure if the lighting is good here on this background, but you probably get the idea. So she was looking good. Her glutes were there, clients were there, her waist was tight, right? And then these pictures that I'm going to show you were never released before, were never shown before to anyone. And this was about 6 weeks of no training in the gym. So she had lost a lot of her size in her upper body. Obviously, there's a lot of it softer in her waist. She lost a lot of her glutes. Her thighs weren't there anymore. So she had no more density or pop to her physique. And, she was kind of worried that she had lost a lot of muscle mass and lost progress and lost time. But every week she was, from this point here, she was progressing at an unbelievable rate. And she was looking a lot harder, a lot denser, and her body kind of was giving her a gift by saying, hey, thank you for, giving me a little break. I'm going to get back to you. So from this point, I believe it was about 14 to 16 weeks from here where we were at the Tampa show and she looked like she's never looked before. So this is a crazy Isa no one's ever seen before. And this was her best look ever at the Tampa Pro. And she was very dense. She was very hard. She had like deep tines. Her glutes were full, round, bubbly. Like this is not a physique that Isa's ever brought to the stage before. And our feedback from the show that this was the best Isa that was ever presented on the stage. So what we learned from that was that her body did really well when it was given a break. And I remember being at the show in Tampa and it made no sense to me because she just looked like she could step on stage at any time of day. She looked like she was ready to go in the morning, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, before bed. Like her body was staying full, her body was staying hard, like everything was just absorbing as it should. And it was just, we were in a really good position. I knew that she was going to win the show and she was going to look her best because her body was just in very much a state of agreement with whatever I was giving it and what we were doing. So we weren't losing fullness at all in the glutes. She was tight before bed. She was tight, in the morning fasted. It's just, everything was going really well. And I can tell that her body was in a good place. And also she was still a little bit stressed this show, obviously, because she's always has, something to prove and she needs to bring it to the stage. But her body was just in a position where I've never seen it before. So that was the difference between about 14, 16 weeks of her, not being in the gym for 5 to 6 weeks after her surgery and then coming back full swing for the Tampa Pro, which was her best physique ever. And I was told at the Tampa Pro that she had a better physique than Jennifer Dory did when she won Olympia last year, but she just needed to fix her front pose and she could take the title. And obviously our goal was to bring something very similar to this. And that didn't happen in, Las Vegas here this past week at the Olympia. So after Tampa show, Isa did the Texas Pro, and a couple of judges said that they preferred that look better than Tampa, but Tyler said that he did prefer her look in Tampa better than Texas, and I agreed too. And the thing is like she was a little bit tighter in Texas, but she didn't have the same pop, the same fullness, the same like roundness that she had in Tampa. And that's something that Isa needs to bring to the stage if she wants to ever win the Olympia. These girls at the top had big, round, full glutes. And you already know Isa will from the front, no matter what. So for her to really step it up and get into those top spots, like I'm talking about 1 or 2 place positions, everyone, and their mother knows that Isa needs to bring in crazy glutes. And she had them at Tampa here. So the week between Tampa and Texas, her body stopped responding as well as it was while we were in Tampa. And, she was losing fullness. She was a little bit flatter. Like things weren't popping as much. And that could have been an issue with just traveling and stress. And we have learned that Isa does not do well under stress and while she's traveling. Isa needs to be on a very regimented, strict routine. That's how she thrives. That's how she lives her life. And she needs to go to bed at a certain time. She needs to wake up at a certain time. All her meals have to be at a certain time. Everything needs to be very structured. And when she's traveling and bouncing around and, going between different time zones, her body isn't very forgiving of that. And that's something that we learned as well, too. So I'm going to show you where we started off here when she landed in Montreal on around September 18th, a few weeks ago. So this was, I think, a day or 2 after she landed. So she was looking pretty damn good. She still needs to be a little bit tighter in this left hamstring here, but her glutes were relatively full, and we were in a good position for her being through herself in the Olympia. Her front pose was good. Obviously, we fixed that front position from here, and she's doing something a little bit weird, but she had pop her physique, right? Things were going really well. So then we go into a couple of days later here, September 20th. She's already looking better. She's a little bit tighter. Her glutes are popping even more. Her tines are coming out a little bit more now, and this is also a pretty good physique for here for Isa. 4 days later, she's starting to look even better. This was a great physique. Her tines are fully visible here. Her glutes are round. There's definitely definition separating the glute and the hamstring here. Her front pose is good as well. A couple days later, she's getting even tighter here. Her glutes are still dense. She has really good condition in her legs. Her front pose is looking insane, right? Here too. Even I showed different lighting. Somewhat different lighting here is more of like a straight on, and then compared to like a downwards lighting. So she's looking really good here. I think that if she brought something like this to the stage, she would have been first or second, I believe, at the Olympia. Worst case, third. A day later. So you guys are seeing like kind of how she's looking when she's at my house 2 or 3 weeks out from the Olympia. Once again, she's looking incredible here. Glutes are in, waist is tight, glutes are nice and full. She has full tie-ins here. Like this is a really good Isa Pecini, and this is something where, she would have been able to really progress as far as her placing from last year on the Olympia stage, and she would have been able to really do some damage. So everything was going really good. I was really happy how she was looking in Montreal. Couple more here. So this is Monday. This is Monday at 4 or 5 days before I left to Toronto. Still looking fantastic. Wednesday. So this is about 1 week out from the Olympia. Sorry, about 10 days out from the Olympia. It's looking really good. Her legs are nice and tight. Tie-ins are there. Same thing here, slightly different lighting. Glutes are really good. Glutes are very round. Tie-ins, everything are there. No issues at all. Then this was Thursday, October 3rd. So she's looking fantastic here still. Her tie-ins are there. Glutes are nice and round. Legs are where they should be. We're cruising, right? This is about 9 days out from the Olympia. So at this point, Isa was still at my house, and I had to go to the Canadian National Show, which was in Toronto, and I left that Thursday. So we did our check-ins at 5 o'clock in the morning here. This is a Thursday. And then I went to the Canadian National Show, and Isa was going to meet me in Las Vegas. So she traveled to Las Vegas on the Friday, 1 day after I left. And I was going to meet her there. I was going to go Sunday night, meet her there Monday morning. So this is when I left to Toronto on October 3rd on Thursday. So she had sent me a check-in on Saturday after she landed, but the lighting wasn't good. She didn't really have a ring light or anything, and she would look kind of washed out, but I didn't really know for sure because she didn't really have good lighting. She wakes up at 5 o'clock in the morning. There's not really sunlight. So these were the pictures she sent me. I mean, if you zoom in, it looks like she's not really conditioned, but she looks full, and it's hard to tell. So she bought a ring light, and then this is the check-in she sent to me on Sunday morning fasted, and she was a little bit watery, and I know the lighting isn't as good as where it was at my house, but something was not right. This was Sunday morning, and this check-in here was Thursday at my house. Okay. So That was Sunday morning in Vegas, and this was at my house on Thursday morning when I left to Toronto here. So we have that picture, and then we have this picture here side by side. And yes, the lighting is different, but something is not right. Like, the tines are obviously not popping. Even if she looks a little bit more washed out here because of lighting, you can see here the tines are not popping out as much at all. Her legs look a little bit softer, and her glutes are obviously waterier, definitely. And also, if you go from the front pose, this was her front pose. Her waist is a little bit watery here compared to this one where her waist is a lot tighter, right? So it looks like she was holding water. But the thing is that her weight was down like almost 1.5 pounds from here. So it's like if her weight was higher, it would make sense. Okay, she's watery. Maybe she's stressed or she traveled and, she's having some water retention in the glutes and the waist and all that too. So it would be like, yeah, no problem. We can cut water or we can increase cardio, trying to bring her in a little bit leaner. But that wasn't the case because her weight was down. So then I was like, you know what? She was kind of stressed out. So I was like, okay, let's just relax. I'm going to be there Sunday night and I'll see you Monday morning fasted. So this was a check-in person with the same lightings at my house Monday morning at the Olympia, about 5 days after the Olympia. So this is the first check-in that I saw her in Vegas. And something was wrong. I didn't know what it was, and I was trying to troubleshoot and problem solve. And she knew something was wrong too, because this wasn't the look that Isa had last week in Montreal. And I'm going to show you a comparison here. So this was about 5 days before on a Wednesday, and then this was, in Monday in Vegas. So I'll look even a week prior. So this was a week prior on the Monday, September 30th, at my house with the same down lighting and everything. And then here she has no more tie-ins and the glutes are soft. It looks like she's holding fat in her hamstrings almost. Like it's not like water. It looks like she's holding fat in her hamstrings. And I was talking to her, and Isa is not the type of athlete to go off and do things and not tell me. So I have no doubt in my mind that she followed the plan that I told her and that she didn't go off and do random things. And as we progressed, she didn't really look much better, and we were trying to figure out what was going on. But the problem was that her weight kept going down and she was looking softer, like almost like body fat, not even water. And then you might say, well, maybe you should fill her up, and then maybe, she would have looked better because she was too flat, and maybe, the skin wasn't tight wrapped around the muscles because the muscles were flat. And I'll show you here, like, this was on Wednesday morning. I was looking a little bit better, but still, like, the tines were not sharp. They were very flat here, and she still there was not enough detail popping on the tine area. And so what I said, hey, come back after meal one. So I made her come back after meal one, and this is how she looked after meal one. And she was much softer. So it's like, if it was an issue where she was flat, then she should have looked better after meal one. And then I tried again meal two, and she just was looking worse and worse and worse. So this was fasted on the Wednesday, and then this was after meal one. So she definitely did not look better. I can't put her on stage with this conditioning right in her tie-ins. And I made her check in with me before bed every night and in the middle of the day. And it wasn't an issue where she was flat, because if it was, once again, she would have looked better later on in the day. So that was that. So it's like, what could have possibly happened that would make her lose weight on the scale, let's say 2 or 3 pounds, and make her look much softer and not have enough pop? And it wasn't a fullness issue because we tried to fill her up and she just was looking worse when I filled her up. The answer is, in short, I don't know. I tried to, I talked to Isa a lot about this, and we went over the plan like a million times and thought about where we could have went wrong and how her body changed so much from Thursday to, Sunday, from when I left her and she went to Vegas. And I don't have the answers to that. And the only way that this could possibly happen, in theory, would be if she just went fully natural and stopped every supplementation that she was on, and just, then the body would obviously look softer and it could drop in weight. But I know she didn't do that. Why would she do that week out for Olympia? And she told me she didn't do that. So it's nothing that Isa did. If she was stressed and holding water, then her weight would go up, right? And she would look softer, and that would make sense. But for her weight to drop so much and her to not be flat and just look a lot softer, almost like she added body fat on her legs, I don't have the answer to that. And as a coach, it's up to me to figure it out. And it's not, anything that Isa did, I believe. And it's not, Isa's fault, or because she didn't work hard enough, or if she did everything I told her to do. And that was just, the end result was not where we wanted to be at the Olympia. And what we realized after the show is that her body definitely wasn't responding as well as it was in Tampa. And she's not the type of athlete to do better as the year goes on. We realize that she really needs a break and she needs to take time off and not do a million shows. We don't need to do any more shows in the summer to try to get feedback. We know what everyone knows what Isa needs to do to be at the top of the Olympia. She needs to have crazy round glutes. So we decided that we're going to give her like the year off and have her just focus on Olympia since she's already qualified because she won the Olympia title in 2019. And that she's going to spend more time with the family, kind of do things outside of bodybuilding, obviously still training and stuff too, but give her body a break, give her mind a break, let her, settle into things. And I believe that this is the only course of action that would give us a successful result at the next year's Olympia, because we saw how incredible she looked at the Tampa Pro. And I'm going to show you guys a video here. Like this, I think this was like in the middle of the day at Tampa Pro, like on a random day. So like, look how much pop and roundness she has. And it's something that we've never seen before on Isa, especially in her glutes. So look at her glutes here. Look how round, look how bubbly they are. She has tie-ins. Like we've never seen an Isa with 4D glutes like this. This is unbelievable. These glutes were up to like Laura Lee's level, Ashley's level, like Jazzy's level glutes. This is a lot of roundness and fullness. And her body was just so responsive at this show, and it was made so easy for me, because if an athlete's looking amazing in the morning or at nighttime, and it doesn't matter what time of day, it's going to be a lot easier for me to peak them, and you know that they're on, and she knows that she's on, and she's going to have a lot less stress. But when the body's, not really giving back and it's kind of pushing against you, and we're in a position that we were in, there's not much we can do, and it's kind of a downhill spiral from there. And we discussed the plan and what we had done and what we would have changed, and we both said we would have changed nothing. Honestly, there's nothing that I could think of or that we could have done differently to bring in a better physique at the Olympia besides, giving her a break, because there's nothing we did wrong on paper from Thursday to Sunday to make her physique look like that. Like there's nothing that could have happened really to make her physique look like that. I think her body just kind of shut down, and that's just the result it was. And I don't want to say it was a fluke or, it's no one's fault or this and that. And if it's anyone's fault, it'll be mine. Don't put it on Isa. But there's nothing I would have changed, even if I can go back in time, that would have yielded a better result. The only thing I would have maybe changed is maybe had Isa go to Vegas 3 weeks before the show, and so that she can be acclimated to the environment. And then if her body was responding, that we had more time there. But from Montreal to Toronto, there was not really anything that would have happened or could have happened that could have made her body react like it did. So I hope this video kind of gave a little bit of a explanation, and there was a little bit more insight that I feel you guys deserve, because, you guys follow our journey and you're very supportive of me and Isa. And it's one of those shows. I mean, things didn't go as they planned. And I've never once been at a show with an athlete and was like, yep, everything was perfect, don't change nothing. Even if they lost or did well, it was always something that I could figure out and make them better, regardless of like which show they're at or how high they place at Olympia or whatever. There's always something you can improve on. And I think that with Isa, the thing that we need to do is we need to give her body a break. We've learned that. We saw that after the forced break that she had after her surgery. And I think that's the plan that we're going to go with going forward into the 25th year. So if you have any questions or comments, please let me know. I appreciate all your support. I appreciate, all the messages and stuff too. And I appreciate that you guys want Isa to do well. And this just wasn't her year. I still have faith in her that she could win the Olympia. I still have faith in her that she can bring back these crazy glutes that we had at Tampa. And I have faith in her that she can be the best athlete in the world in the bikini division. Thank you for your patience and taking the time to watch this video. And I hope you have a wonderful week. Thanks, guys.